Where you at, Leah? I brought her back a while. So far. Oh, yeah. We won't be able to take it down. We got to pull off the field eventually. Hold on,
Before you get to Lake Avenue? Yeah. Is it before you get to Lake Avenue? I think I got the two. Like after it.
But I got caught. Come on, your dad's back there.
You've been there, so you take these pictures in the various parts you've been in? Okay. How did
That's a wall, right?
like maybe 4? I don't like them. This is new. It started with anniversary rings from my husband. I had 7 of them. And there's somebody else gave me this. I guess that's it. But I don't take them all. So people give me if I found it, I would let you attach it.
I've already got a bite.
You got fit already?
Yep. I just went up there, got fit. Just stay here on the fit.
It ran some folks out the other week. We have those mosquito bits.
And then, what kind of car would you say now on my phone? Do you want them to join in with that? So I can...
They can say, yo. But you have to you get the rhythm of it.
Good.
I'm in the parking lot.
Because I had literally my calendar. Yoga.
thought it said on the. You know what? You're always getting up. What is it? Wear long pants.
I can't tell you how many people couldn't make it.
Yeah. Yes.
I have your card. So if I want to get long pants.
Alright, I'm just going to take the mic. Hello, everybody. We're going to try to get started here. It's a loose 6 o'clock, but it is 6 o'clock. And we do want to try to stick to our schedule. Louder! Louder! So if you're here and would like to take a seat, we'd love to have you come sit down. We're going to start with our program first. Great. Let's give you a minute to find a place to sit. Great. Thanks, everybody. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Bonnie Sorak. I am with Interfaith Partners for the Chesapeake. Yeah. And this is all my fault. No. Thank you all for coming. It is a blessing to be here as always. So with no further ado, I'll be back up later to give you an idea of the schedule of where things are and what we're going to do. But it is my great honor and pleasure to introduce to you Pastor Michael Martin, the pastor here from Still Meadow Community Fellowship and the Peace Park. Thank you.
Oh, I heard the clapping from over there, but I didn't hear anything over here. I was like, oh, nobody's sitting here. So let me give y'all one more shot. Oh, there's a lot of people behind me. My name is Michael Martin. I am Pastor Michael here at Still Meadow Community Fellowship. And I want to say a hearty welcome to all of you as it relates to Solstice and also to Juneteenth. And this is a great opportunity that we have to fellowship together from so many different directions. I want to say a special greetings to Mount Lebanon Baptist Church and their wonderful pastor, Frank Lance. And so I just wanted to say he is a new friend of mine, so I'm very happy that they're here. Again, I welcome you on behalf of Still Meadow Community Fellowship. If you don't know, it is our church, but then it is also Still Meadow Peace Park. And so these 10 acres, 9.5 going that way, are the Peace Park. And it's been in development over the last 4+ years. A lot of things have come out of the Peace Park, like 3 or 4 tons of debris and trash and underbrush. And a lot of things have gone into the Peace Park, like close to 2,000 new saplings and plantings of trees. And so it has been a genuine community effort. So our church, of course, has been involved and has tried to lead, but I look around and I see a lot of people that have been involved with helping the Peace Park to be more than something that we said, but it is actually a genuine thing. And so we're very, very excited about that. We think that it has, we know it has the ability and the potential to be an oasis. Already has been doing that, to be something that where, in fact, this Saturday we'll start a summer program, and the youth from around the city will be here for 4 hours every Saturday for 8 weeks, and learning about literacy, learning, improving your literacy, and learning math in the building, but also in the park. And so we're excited about that dynamic. We do something called Turnaround Tuesdays here every Tuesday, doing work on people developing their careers and finding jobs, etc. And again, everything, here's what we say. We say we're learning to take what's happening in here and express it out there. And we're learning to take what happens out there and express it in here. So that there's little, not the big separation between how we worship God and how we follow Him and how we serve Him by serving other people. So, again, it's just a glorious thing. All right, I'm going to introduce Peter Brooks, and he's going to take us to our next plateau. And Peter is the grandson of Cab Calloway, who many of you know is a great singer and entertainer who came from here in Baltimore. I only smile because the older I get, the more I reference to certain references like that. You can't just say, y'all remember Cab Calloway. Yeah, increasingly it's like, oh, well, Google him, young people. And yeah. So anyway, Cab Calloway, which is a glorious thing. He is the great-great-grandson of Andrew Reed, a president and founder of the United Mutual Brotherhood of Liberty, which was an organization that was a precursor to both the NAACP and the Black Panthers as they enforced the Emancipation Proclamation on the streets of Baltimore. Peter continues the tradition of his grandfathers by educating people in the lost wisdom and ways of the first people of the Americas, as in the Haudenosaunee, that's what I was going to say, Thanksgiving address, which he will recite today. The address is really translated as the words before all else, which means that this is how an occasion like this would have started had colonialism never taken place and we were standing in the lands of the people loyal to the
Piscataway.
That's exactly right. The Piscataway. All right, I do the Yep.
Chief. Historic Piscataway Chief.
In Southern Maryland.
Yes.
Would you welcome Peter, please?
What a great introduction. So, I'm going to come down a bit. I hope you can hear me. If you can't, you got to come closer. Or do I need to sit down?
Yeah.
When I say now our minds are one, the traditional response is to say no. But you can say whatever affirmation you want, and you don't have to wait until that point. If I say something in here and your spirit is moved, yeah. So, if you were standing here and colonialism never happened, you would have said this address or heard it. In fact, you would have heard it between 2 and possibly 10, 15 times a day, because these are the words that happened before all else, all right? Comes from the Haudenosaunee people. The people. Today we have gathered, and we see that the cycles of life continue. We have been given the duty to live in balance and harmony with each other and all living things. So now, we bring our minds together as one, as we send greetings and thanks to each other as people. Now our minds are one. Yo! The waters. We are all thankful to the waters for quenching our thirst and providing us with strength. Water is life. We know its power in many forms: waterfalls and rain, mists and streams, rivers and oceans. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to the spirit of water. Now our minds are one. Yo! The fish. we turn our minds to all the fish life in the water. They were instructed to cleanse and purify the water. They also give themselves to us as food. We are grateful that we can still find pure water. So now, we turn to the fish and send our greetings and thanks. Now, our minds are one. Yo! Now we turn toward the vast fields of plant life. As far as the eye can see, the plants grow, working many wonders. They sustain many life forms. With our minds gathered together, we give thanks to the plant life, and we look forward to seeing plant life for many generations to come. Now, our minds are one. The food plants. With one mind, we turn to honor and thank all the food plants that we harvest from the garden. Since the beginning of time, the grains, vegetables, beans, and berries have helped our people to survive. Many other living things draw strength from them too. So we gather all the food plants together as one and send them a greeting of thanks. Now our minds are one. We turn to all the medicine herbs of the world. From the beginning, they were instructed to take away sickness. They are always waiting and ready to heal us. We are grateful and happy that there are still among us those special few who remember how to use these plants for healing. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to the medicines and to the keepers of the medicines. Now, our minds are one. We gather our minds together to send greetings and thanks to all the animal life in the world. They have many things to teach us as people. We are honored by them when they give up their lives so that we can have food and shelter and comfort for our people. We see the animals near our homes, and we see the animals deep in the forest. We are glad that the animals are still here, and we hope that it will always be so. Now, our minds are one. We now turn our thoughts to the trees. The earth has many families of trees, each with their own instructions and uses. Some provide us with shelter and shade, others with fruit and beauty and other useful things. Many people use the tree as a symbol of peace and strength. With one mind, we greet and we thank the tree life. Now our minds are one. We put our minds together to thank all the birds who move and fly about over our heads. The Creator gave them such beautiful songs. Each day, the birds remind us to enjoy and appreciate life. The eagle was chosen to be their leader. To all the birds, From the smallest to the largest, we send our joyful greetings and thanks. Now, our minds are one. We are all thankful to the powers that we know as the four winds. We hear their voices in the moving air as they refresh and purify the air that we breathe. They help us to bring the change of seasons. From the four directions they come, sending us messages and giving us strength. With one mind, we send our greetings and thanks to the four winds. Now, our minds are one. Now, we turn to the west, where our grandfathers, the thunder beings, live. With lightning and thundering voices, they bring with them the water that renews life. We are thankful that they keep those evil things made by Oquiseries underground. We bring our minds together as one to send greetings and thanks to our grandfathers, the thunder beings. Now our minds are one. Yo. We now send greetings and thanks to our eldest brother, the sun. Each day, without fail, he travels the sky from east to west, bringing forth the light of a new day. He is the source of all fires of life. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to our brother, the sun. Now our minds are one. The stars, the grandmother moon. We put our minds together to give thanks to our oldest grandmother, the moon, who lights the nighttime sky. She is the leader of women all over the world, and she governs the movement of the ocean tides. It is by her changing face that we measure time, and it is the moon who watches over the arrival of children here on earth. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to our oldest grandmother, the moon. Now our minds are one. Yo! The stars. We give thanks to the stars who are spread across the sky like jewelry. We see them in the night, helping the moon to light the darkness and bringing dew to the gardens and growing things. When we travel at night, it is the stars who guide us home. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to the stars. Now our minds are one. We gather our minds together to greet and thank the enlightened teachers who have come to help us throughout the ages. When we forget how to live in harmony, they remind us of the way we were instructed to live as people. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to all the caring teachers all over the world and all throughout time. Now, our minds are one. No. Now, we turn our thoughts to the Creator, or the Great Spirit, and send greetings and thanks for all the gifts of creation. Everything that we need to live a good life is here on this Mother Earth. For all the love that is still around us, we gather our minds together as one and send our choicest words of greetings and thanks to the Creator. Now our minds are one. We have now arrived at the place where we end our words. Of all the things we have named, it was not our intent to leave anything out. If something was forgotten, we leave it up to each individual to send greetings and thanks in their own way. Now, our minds are one. So today, the summer solstice, is probably the most sacred day to Native Americans. You know, I was thinking about it. Native Americans don't really have like a Christmas or Easter or anything like that. Just kind of do our thing. But the summer solstice is the equivalent of like a Christmas or Easter all rolled up into one. And that's because all across America now, men and women are participating in the Sun Dance. The Sun Dance takes place during the longest day of the year. We as humans sacrifice our hunger, our thirst, our comfort, and our flesh in order that our prayers may be heard. And we do it, we dance as long as the sun is up, from sun up till sundown on the longest day of the year. And it's the most we can give, you know, for the healing of the earth. Today, Orville Looking Horse, you can look his name up on Google or whatever, but Orville asked that all people of all faiths and all nations come together to pray for Mother Earth. And so we have done that. We've gathered in a sacred space and we have prayed. So I do all of the ancient history, but I'm going to turn the show over to a man who does not need an introduction. The current person making history, our elder, Mr. Dugan. Come on up, Mr. Dugan. Now y'all will get some living history. History that is alive today.
Some water, so maybe I can pour it like this. I'll pour it right on the flank.
Okay, do you want your microphone up here?
I can put everything. I'm pretty sure I'll pour it right there.
You think he wants to sit? Because he can set the microphone up on the second step. So he can sit here. Rather than stand.
I think I talk loud. I'd like to say good evening and thank you for the opportunity to be here with you. If we could all stand, we want to do what we call libations, offering honor and praise to our ancestors. As we pour this water, we're going to think of the women in our lives we love and respect in our history. We can call them our sheroes. As we pour this water, we can think of the men in our lives. Similarly, we can call them our heroes. In memory of Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. and Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth and Queen Nzinga and Queen Mother Moore, please say the names of any of your heroes and sheroes, your family history, or you love and respect. Thurgood Marshall, Karima Rasulullah, Rashida Bandeli Imani, Robert Kaki McQueen, Leo and Lorraine Hansberry, Langston Hughes, Frederick Douglass, Paul Robeson, Paul Lawrence Dunbar, Fannie Lou Hamer, Zora Neale Hurston, Chinua Achebe, George and Jonathan Jackson, Nat Turner, Gabriel Prosser, Denmark Vesey, Henri Christophe, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Toussaint Louverture, Patrice Lumumba, Lillian Malongo, Nelson Mandela, Desmond Tutu, Steve Biko, David Sebeko, Mark Clark, Fred Hampton, all of our people killed in Middle Passage, Marvin Gaye, Curtis Mayfield, John Coltrane, Ella Fitzgerald, Minnie Riperton, Sarah Vaughn, Melton James, Constance, Linda Barber, and Margaret Duggar, William and Vivian Taylor, Ann Taylor, Brother Jay Ara, Brother Masaga, Warren Wolf Sr., Brother Gary Downs. In memory of all of our people that have gone before us, brothers and sisters, to make it possible for us to be here, for us to recognize we got a lot of work to do, but together we can do that work. Thank you very much for your participation. If you would take a seat. So when we perform, thank you, sir. When we perform libations, we're offering, thank you, sir, honor and praise to our ancestors. And that's why we are here. We're like branches, we're like, or even we could say, new trunks, right? Like we were saying earlier when the brother was talking to us about, the different things we need to be in great gratitude and appreciation to our Creator for. But we are extensions of deeply embedded roots, flowers and blossoms that are here right now. But we can only exist because of our ancestors. So I'm sure you heard a lot of those people's names that I called. But as we are celebrating the solstice that the brother so beautifully presented to us, we're also here because of Juneteenth. Yeah. Something in more recent years that has become more noteworthy to many of us. But it's also a situation where, because there are people that don't want you to know, had done a great job of keeping people ignorant, keeping us ignorant. I think even if you're looking at these hearings right now that are going on with the January 6th committee, look at the ignorance that many of us still have about what is going on. And that's a real thing. A real thing. So the 13th Amendment supposedly freed the Negroes, right? But it didn't really happen, did it? And that becomes the problem. But our ignorance of the fact that we were freed was a big factor in that. We as black people didn't know. Just like if we escaped to freedom, we didn't know where we were going to go because we didn't know where to go. You follow me? And once they freed us, we didn't know where to go because we had not been prepared to go. Just like the sisters has a survey and she wants to know what the programs you want in the community for job training. Often we weren't into planning. We weren't planning even to be in America, were we? But that happened. But then, Bob Marley's son, Ziggy Marley, said, don't know your past, won't know your future. Hear me now. Don't know your past, won't know your future. So we found out 2.5 years later, if we lived in Texas, that we had been freed. They didn't bother to tell us. A long time ago, when I began to become more and more of a reader, and I remember reading different books, and one was D. Brown's Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, and how they stressed that the white man spoke with a forked tongue, that no treaty that he ever made with the Native American, look it up yourself, did he ever keep? No treaty. So we're talking about a time where we went from the 13th Amendment, and then we became to wake up, and we began to know that we were freed people, 2.5 years later in Texas. But we also needed an understanding of what it meant to be free. So the 14th Amendment, they made us United States citizens. The 15th Amendment, we got the right to vote. That was around 1870. Now, what gets to be interesting, if we understand all of this, brothers and sisters, is that when the United States Constitution was written, who was it written for? White men that own land. You know this, right? White men that own land, property owners. They didn't give regular white men, the everyday white man, I forget which British writer wrote it, every man, but every man didn't get their right to vote. It was around 1820. I think it was something like 1780 for him, but something like 1820. Then he gave the black man the right to vote in 1870. Not the black woman. And plus he didn't give the white woman the right to vote in 1820. He just gave the white man, other than the landowner. Then he gave the black man the right to vote on paper in 1870. But like Mcneil Jamal, who's still in prison up there in Philadelphia, said it took us 95 years, though, to get the right to vote, didn't it? Even the black. 95 years. Because the madness of the grandfather clause in states like Louisiana, the madness of poll taxes and literacy tests kept us from voting until finally in 1965. And now, what have we been doing ever since? Now we got to save that. because we're losing that, aren't we? More and more the states are taking away. They're taking away our right to vote. The vote that people fought and died for. When Fannie Lou Hamer with the Mississippi Freedom Party talked about, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. So we have to decide that there's a value in our humanity, as you know, the brother was telling us about the harmony of all that God has created, and the slaves had to see that.
Yes.
You understand? Because they didn't have the education. So like when Carter G. Woodson wrote a book called The Education of the Negro prior to 1861, and he said good white people and good black people brought the light of education to Negroes, it was outstanding. We observed and absorbed. We grasped it. It was wonderful. And if you know the history of this country and how Reconstruction, for a while, there things were moving, weren't they? But then the same thing that's happening right now, the white backlash. We went from having a black president for 2 terms, and now we almost had a civil war. Golly gee, what's happening? And we got to understand, but that's not by accident, it's by design. But what do we want? We want just like the drum. You know, the drum tells us about umoja, unity. It talks about our whole body spirit, our whole being. So remember, the Native American couldn't play his drum in America, could he? No, kill it. We don't want that. The black man couldn't play his drum in America. You know that, right? Study history. I was at a Juneteenth celebration at Johns Hopkins University this past Friday. And Brother Mcneil Yehuda's group performed wonderfully. And the sister kept saying, they took the drum away from us. But then she said, but we became the drum. They took the drum away from us, but we became the drum with our clapping, with our sound, our stomping. We became the drum. So that's that kuumba, that's that creativity. Yeah. So, you know, I don't want to hold you up too much long. I want to sing a song with you too, though. But if we look at this flag, symbols of unity, just like if we're doing Kwanzaa. I've been very grateful for about 35 years through the Enoch Pratt Library in Baltimore City. I do Kwanzaa celebration with the family and the community. And we look at these 3 colors, red, black, and green. Symbolic. The blood that our people have shed fighting for freedom, justice, and equality. And it's an ongoing fight. But when we see this cowardly killing among my people, horribly killing, we know that this has got to stop. What would Malcolm think if he took about 17 bullets in his chest, or they say Dr. King's bullet was in the throat neck, almost took his head off, just like some of those children who Uvalde, Texas. You heard about that, right? Some of them lost their heads. You know, that's how powerful that weapon was. Diana Ross at the Supreme long time ago said, stop in the name of love. And that's what we got to be talking about, love. How can we go from a president that made us feel good into a president that's got us hating each other? It makes no sense. I was a Baltimore City public school teacher for 46 years. I enjoyed teaching. Beautiful middle school and high school teaching English. You understand? But then after a while, we could begin to see that education by design wasn't what it was supposed to be. And we let that happen. So we got to restore all of this. You know. Can I get 6 people to want to come up with me for a second? 6 people. I want you to hold something. Just hold a letter. Please. Because we have to restore a love of learning. We just spelled the word school. Most schools where I taught, I would always try to have a drama club so I could challenge the principal, let us have an assembly. Because at a lot of the schools nowadays, they don't have drama clubs, they don't have assemblies, they don't have bands, they don't have choirs, they don't have newspapers. And they don't have a whole lot of stuff. They don't have homeroom. Advisory, they come right off the street at night. They're supposed to be changing it, but 8 o'clock go right to class, but they're not robots, they're people. So we got to bring back a love of learning. And that's what, when the brother was giving us that wonderful dissertation, a presentation, you know, about the summer solstice. S is for student. A student must study. Whether your name is Barbara or Buddy. Bus tickets, lunch tickets, backpack too. If you don't study, you're not a student through and through. C is for culture and the traditions we all share. Our diversity is beautiful. C is for culture and the traditions we share. Of my African culture, I am aware. H is for honor. That with a good education you will receive. So study, strive, achieve. We need to go around the community telling the children that they understand, that they want to grow and know. O is for what an education does. It opens my mind, my heart, and my spirit. I believe I can fly. Oh, it's for opportunity. That's what an education gives me. After finishing elementary school, middle school, high school, and college, I'm going to dance. Hey, I'm going to sing. I'm happy. And L is for love, something we all possess. So with a good education and love, we're going to have true happiness. Yes. So I think we just need for this summer, Mcneil, let's start pushing school again. Let's push learning, the beauty of learning. What the brother told us today about the stars and the grandmother moon. Let's keep on learning. My grandfather used to say, Charlie, the more you learn, boy, the more you realize you don't know. The more you realize you don't know. So I'd like to thank the people that participated. Wait, before you sit down, we got a special clap I learned as a little guy with Drew Hill, YMCA Camp Mohawk and Camp Drew Hill. It's called a Class A clap. And if we can do it together, it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. The pattern changes like life does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now let's give a dry run. Let's try the Class A clap to ourselves. Let's go. Beautiful. All right, so now we're ready for, let's give our wonderful participants a Class A clap. Thank you. I have some calendars that one of my best friends now deceased he made, so I'd like if you gladly participants would take one, and if anybody else would like to have one. So in conclusion, I'd like to sing a song with you. It's called Deep and Wide. Deep and Wide. You know, a lot of singing was very important during slavery, so we would stay inspired to go from Mississippi maybe all the way to Canada, right? So we're singing a song called Deep and Wide. These are the words. Deep, and we use our hands too, please. Deep and wide, deep and wide, there's a love that's flowing deep and wide. Deep and wide, deep and wide, there's a love that's flowing deep and wide. We want that love to flow on Summer Solstice Day and on Juneteenth. Here's the tune. Deep and wide, there's a love that's flowing deep and wide. Deep and wide, there's a love that's flowing deep and wide. That's not bad. Now we got some people coming down Frederick Avenue, may not be feeling that great. They might hear our strong voice, make them feel better. How about a little strong? Let's go. Deep and wide, there's a love that's flowing deep and wide. I can't hear you. Deep and wide, there's a love that's flowing deep and wide. All right, baby, let's try it one more time, a little stronger, so we can wake up all the nature that the brother was telling us about. And as the sun is setting down, we can feel it, bring it back up to be nurtured. Now, with this song, after we sing it, we got to take some parts off, but I think you'll like the song. A little stronger, please. Come on, let's go. Deep and wide. A little stronger. Deep and wide, there's a love that's flowing deep and wide. Sound good. Deep and wide, there's a love that's flowing deep and wide. And this time we cannot sing deep. We can sing every other part of the song, but for deep we can only put up our hands. That's all we can do. All right, let's go. And wide, there's a love that's flowing and wide, there's a love that's flowing and wide. This time we can't sing deep, we can't sing in, we can't sing wide. The only words we're allowed to sing, there's a love that's flowing. That's all we can sing. All right, let's go. There's a love that's flowing. Got to hold this part. Good. There's a love that's flowing. This time, the only word we can sing is flowing. The only word we're allowed to sing is flowing. Let's go, okay? Flowing. Now hold this part. Good. Good. Flowing. This time, no words, all hands. Let's go. All right, the last thing we do, we want to hum it. Then we're done. Just think about it as we go through. Always try to have a beautiful song in your mind, so when you come across adversity, that by the time it helps us get over it, doesn't it? Thank you very much. We have some drummers with us, so we're looking forward for you to get up later and dance and celebrate. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Charlie. We will all have that earworm for the rest of the week, right? Thank you, thank you. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what's going to happen here today, but I want to thank all of my committee. You all were stupendous. My Mount Lebanon Baptist Church folks, all of our co-sponsors here today. Everyone received a little passport. We'd love for you to stop by and have them check off that you visited them, and once you've checked that off, you can stop by the Interfaith Partners for the Chesapeake table and pick up some native plant seeds that you can grow next year or plant this fall. So thank you to everyone for coming. Please stop by, participate. So just a really quick rundown. We had a schedule, but heck, it's the solstice, so you know. So you heard the African drummers. They're going to be drumming for us. If you head up that way, we'll have our nature walk that's going to be on leading from the path up there. We have some folks. Zach White right here is going to take you on a nature walk. I think McKay Jenkins is going to try to take you through the forest there and show you what's going on in the forest. Hold on 1 second. Get it right. Then we have yoga that will happen down here on the green here. And our friend Jamila from Mount Lebanon and Yoga Love will be offering some chair yoga, gentle yoga, nothing too strenuous. Relax your mind, relax your brain. Then Rose Mcneil. Rose Mcneil is here. She's a wonderful artist, and she has come take a look at her booth. She's got beautiful nature photographs. She will be taking you for a walk. We had said that would be around 7 o'clock. Taking for a walk up in the woods and point out how to take good nature photographs, and then she'll be talking to you at her table. We have a bug hunt. Our friends from Blue Water, Baltimore are here at this end table here. This is for young and young at heart. Folks who want to learn about the smallest of God's creatures. We need them, and we need to take care of them, and they'll be taking you on a little bug hunt. Then we'll have another round of the nature walk. So if you want to do some of these things, you can catch the nature walk for a second time. That's supposed to be around 7:30 or so. We'll have a second walk for that. We have someone from the Forest Service that's going to join us to take you on that nature walk with Zach again. And then we'll end tonight with African drumming. And then we also have Eric Fischel with Baltimore Green Space. He's also going to take some folks up, talk about our native plants as well. And he's got a lot of knowledge about our feathered friends. Did I miss anybody? Anybody? You handed me this, so I think our friends from Mount Lebanon want me to make sure you can come by and get your reusable grocery bag. Never have enough of these. And then we do have water somewhere, so if you're feeling parched, the garden, thank you. And then we have a native garden tour as well. We have 2 rounds of that. My friend Wendy Hall, who's from my congregation out in Howard County, she's going to take you through the native plant gardens and explain, and Dorothy Langford, thank you, I'm sorry, and Dorothy Langford from Church of Redeemer. They're working together to teach folks about why we plant native plants and why they're important and what they purpose they serve. So, and those were supposed to be at around. Whoops. The plant garden first one's at 7, and then the second one's at 7:30. So stop on by. Here's the water. Thank you. So if you didn't come with water, and at any time we had said pack your own picnic, take a break. Have a refreshment. Glad you're all here. Come find me if you have any questions. All of our tablers will help you as well. Thank you all. Enjoy. Yes.
I'm ready. I wanted to make sure you had an indication. Yeah. Don't need to push the flyer or anything like that. Yeah, I've got a few actually. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Nice to meet you.
I guess I should press for this.
So the African drummers will be up there. I hear them drumming, and then the nature walk is right up there. The path starts right up there. I think we have a group forming right here.
The state of Maryland.
My grandson, this is my great grandson. This is Mr. Douglas. How you doing?
For anyone that wants a good stretch, yoga is starting down on the grass down there, so a little stress relief and stretching out those muscles. If you've never done it before, this is a good opportunity to try.
So what's the next step? Next step.
One last question.
Yeah, so that is a.
Next for our third coil. It's the curve. That's curve, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. We only got half. Yeah, this was a long time ago. they make the money. You know, they love the money. He taught, he made instruments for us, how to draw us. Right. Jackson played right every day. Magic with them. He had to add on everything with the smile and everything. When I got that's what Jackson said. That's it. That's exactly. That's what Jackson said. Oh, and what did he call it? He said that he said it's a straw. What's he say? Strawless. He said that the straw and the flute, made him a strawless. That's what Jackson said. Yeah, that's what Jackson said. He said this is a word.